What's going on, button pushers? Welcome to the channel. Have you guys ever come across an ad for something that you were really interested in? Something that was like, I really want that, but you couldn't justify the purchase because, well, it just wasn't, something that you thought you would need. I have one of those purchases. It is the Loupedeck CT right here in my hand. I want to talk to you guys about the pros, the cons, what situations I would use it for, because I know a lot of you creators out there actually see this product in ads or, just somewhere else, and you think to yourself, that's a really cool product. I kind of want it, but I don't know if it's worth buying. I don't know when I would use it. I'm really comfortable with my setup, and I just don't think I would ever really touch it. So today's video is going to be all about that. So there's a lot of different configurations and different products when it comes to the Loupedeck. I have the Loupedeck CT in my hand, and there's a lot that goes into it. Every configuration is going to be different based on which product you get, but this one has 6 knobs that also count as buttons. It has 12 buttons in the middle, has 2 sliders on each side. It has 8 presets here, 6 keys on both sides, and a wheel in the middle. And you can kind of use these to configure and set up how you want the Loupedeck to work. There's also some pre-made setups for specific programs like Premiere or DaVinci. So personally, I'm using this for Premiere Pro, and it is one of those things where, I could use it for DaVinci if I really wanted to in the future, if I ever decide to actually switch. And I did dabble a bit with color in DaVinci for a bit. I haven't touched DaVinci in a while. I haven't really had time to kind of learn the product. I haven't really had time to explore. I just kind of have to keep working. There's a lot of personal stuff that I have to deal with. But it's one of those things that is really universal across a lot of programs, and even if you're not using it for Premiere or DaVinci, you can probably use it for a lot of other different products, even probably Photoshop or so. Now let's talk about the pros and the cons, and we'll start with the pros. Actually, we'll start with the cons. I want to start with the cons.
So guys, real quick before we can move on, I did have some lag issues with the app originally, but I tested it out after recording this video, and I realized that I didn't have any more lag issues. The app runs super smooth, so if you guys hear me say anything about the app being laggy or not good, it's fixed. So
first of all, this does require a program on your computer to run, but it is a bit laggy when I try to configure and, put specific buttons on specific places. Like, it takes a while to load, and it freezes up sometimes or just acts really slow. I don't know if I had to update it again or something. I don't know, I'm not sure, but that was an issue I was facing. I'm not sure I still face, because I decided to end up using the pre-made one for Premiere Pro, so I just kind of got used to it and made some minor adjustments and kind of tweaked it a little bit. I ended up doing that, and it works fine for me, but that is something to note when it comes down to it. Also, the Loupedeck won't work if the program is not active, based on what I've seen so far, because when the Loupedeck app on my PC is not open, the Loupedeck is just black. It's just dark. And honestly, besides that, there's no real cons. Honestly, it is a bit of a learning curve when it comes down to it, because I don't necessarily know exactly how to use the buttons on the wheel all the time. I have it for playback, but sometimes when I'm on the color grading point, I've changed it so it's like shadow, highlights, and midtones, and I don't exactly know how to navigate with that. I have practiced a bit, I used it a bunch, but I haven't really 100% grasp the whole idea and kind of the entire layout. So I actually only use this for color grading, but I'll get into that a bit more when I talk about what exactly this is for, because it's more than just color grading. There is more to it, and I want to elaborate on that, just not quite yet. But besides that, I don't think there's really any more cons to it. It's a really awesome tool, and it's really small, it's really portable, and it's super lightweight and very easy to use, besides the app itself, which actually is really easy to use, really easy to understand, but again, with the lag, it just makes it a little bit more complicated. So let's talk about the pros. The pros come in so many different aspects, from being able to edit faster, not having to, click around and all that stuff, because when you're editing and you want to color grade or something, you can literally just do it from the knob. You don't even have to open the Lumetri color tab. Just make sure that's selected on your timeline, and you can just do it right away. So you can be putting on the timeline and color grading it right away, and you don't even need to open the Lumetri color tab. You can just view it live right there on the playback or program monitor, and it's pretty awesome. It makes the workflow go by really quickly. If it's just something you're starting off with or anything, I really recommend getting a Loupedeck, because it's just something you get comfortable with, and it can stick with you. And again, with everything being programmable, you can make it basically a second keyboard. So you can have your mouse, your keyboard there. You might not even need your entire keyboard at all, and you can just use the Loupedeck itself to kind of do your entire edit. You can scrub with the wheel, you can set preset buttons to kind of configure however you like, and it just makes it feel good and speeds up your editing process, or even not even just speeds up, but kind of consolidates it and makes it more simplified. Not only that, but I know a lot of times when we're using our mouses when we're using our using the mouse, a lot of times when we're using the mouse, we'll overshoot some color grading aspects or some wheels or anything. So having these knobs can make it really specific, because they're not loose knobs. They're really precision, like they feel good. They're nice and strong. They have like a hard stop at each turn. Like every little angle, it has a hard stop. So it's not like a super loose knob that you can spin uncontrollably and it keeps going like the wheel kind of, but there's always a hard stop so it doesn't overshoot. Build quality wise, it looks amazing. You know, I really like it a lot. I've read reviews online that kind of strayed me away from buying one, that say that it bends or it arrived bent, but that was on Amazon also. So you know, a lot of times there's third-party sellers and it's a little bit weird, but the quality of the product itself is really, really nice, down to the knobs, the buttons, the overall build of itself. It's pretty nice. It feels good. It doesn't feel entirely plasticky. It feels like there's some metal aspects to it. It's got a little bit of weight. It's not like super lightweight that it could blow away in the wind. It just feels really good, and it's nice and portable. Again, very portable. Which leads me into the next part of this video, where I kind of want to talk about situations and when I would use this. Now, personally, I don't think I would use this here at my personal desktop setup because, well, I don't really need it. I've been editing this way on the computer for almost 10 years now, and you know, it's just something I'm really accustomed to. But one thing I'm not accustomed to anymore is editing on a laptop. You know, I used to edit on the MacBook when I was traveling non-stop. You know, I was always editing on it, and ever since I stopped about 4 years ago, it's been really hard to go back since, because that tiny screen, after being spoiled with something like this, that tiny laptop screen is just not enough. You know, I don't get enough real estate on the screen for me to drag and pull things around. You know, the timeline is tiny, the program monitor is tiny, the project bin is tiny, and then to have to pull up the Lumetri color, you know, side panel on that is just so annoying. So honestly, I brought this along with me when I traveled for a bit to do some work, and it was really nice to use because, you know, I was able to color grade without having to pull up that color grade tab. You know, I was just able to save so much space, so much time, because, you know, having that tiny screen is really freaking annoying. And, you know, the Loupedeck was able to save me there because I was able to, you know, make changes, you know, tweak things that I needed to tweak without having to pull anything up, and being able to save that screen real estate for what I really needed. And that was something that really helped me out. So if you guys are traveling a lot, editing on a tiny screen a lot, the Loupedeck might be something to look into, because it helps a ton when it comes to saving space on your screen. Also, for people who are maybe just starting out and haven't really found their accustomed super speed work processing, because when your workflow is slow, your work output is slow. So maybe if you're just starting out, the Loupedeck could help you a ton, because you haven't really found your efficient workflow yet. So maybe the Loupedeck can be one of those things that you kind of implement into your process early on, so you get used to using it and you can stay using it in the future. Because, you know, again, for me, I've been doing the computer thing for 10 years, no Loupedeck or anything, and it's just one of those things that is kind of hard to just jump into when you're so used to just using a mouse and a keyboard, because you're just always going to go back to that mouse and keyboard. So again, it is kind of hard for me to kind of use it here in front of my PC, but when I'm traveling on the laptop with a tiny screen, helps a ton. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you guys interested in getting a Loupedeck? Let me know how you guys feel about that. Are you accustomed to mouse and keyboard? Let me know. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep pushing buttons, guys, and have a nice day.